Okay, so we're getting back to working with Slate. Last session, we worked on getting the halter on for the first time, like officially getting it on, where not only did we put the halter over his nose, but we also tied it. And I picked up on like the knot of the halter, and towards the end asked for just a little bit of pressure to see how he would do with that. I want to pick back up on that. So we're going to see, hopefully he remembers. I'm hoping that easy peasy, he's good with this halter. We put the halter on, and then we can start on teaching him to lead a little bit, working on a little bit of pressure. Here's the thing about this is because still he's doing much better, but there still is a little bit of apprehension, a little bit of penny-eared stuff that I see going on with him. I'm not going to do a lot of leading with him because it's not really safe to lead him right now. But what I'm going to do is I'll do some leading. I'll get him to back up away from me. That's going to be the first thing that we learn. And then I'm actually going to work on taking the halter off and just doing some body work with him where we pass each other in this narrow area where I send him to one side of the pen, I send him back to the next side of the pen, because that's going to set us up for the next session we do where I send him away, draw him in, and halter him up. I'm going to go ahead and start with just asking him to fall into my hand like we've normally been doing. Good boy. And I'm going to just have the expectation for him to be polite and be a gentleman. Good. And for anybody that's just watching this on social, like on Facebook or TikTok, remember, if you want to find the complete version of this, you can go on YouTube and find the full sessions that we've been doing. They're usually typically anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour long. Good boy. I'm going to drive him on forward here. I'm going to use a little bit of my stick here to add some pressure. Good boy. I'm going to give him a rub. Good boy. I'm going to come right in here and give him a rub right here over his face. Let him know he's made a good decision by connecting with me and staying here with me. Good boy. Rub him on the neck. Outstanding. And then I'm going to unclip my lead, actually, which is what we've been doing the last couple sessions. And when I rub him, I'm going to rub him with the lead rope. And again, I'm acting like I expect him to just kind of pick up where we left off. So, no, sir. He's still got to be polite and be a gentleman. And we talked about this last time when he was kind of getting a little bit chargy like that and kind of putting his ears back. We kind of have like a history here between us. And so he's learned it's not nearly as aggressive as it was when we first started, where he was really like coming after me and trying to bite my hand off, right? But he's learned that I'm not going to back down, right? That I'm going to stand there and keep working with him. But safety first, always. If ever you feel like your safety is compromised, back up, do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe, even if it means that you lose a little bit of ground or time with your training. That's okay. You can always pick back up. So I'm going to ask him to step into this. Good boy. Step into it. Good boy. Step into it. I want the halter to be no big deal, right? So even though he's worried about it, I'm not worried about it. I'm like, hey, let's say, hey, let's drive back through here. No, sir. There, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. What a pony. And again. No, sir. Gotta be polite. Good. No, sir. Good. Good boy. Yes, sir. What a pony. Yes, sir. Add pressure behind him. No, sir. You see how I make it very clear that he can't be nasty. Good. Good boy. Good boy. And a rub. Let's go right back to rubbing and loving on him. We're stepping back up. Good. Stepping back up. Good. Good boy. I'm gonna step him back up again. Good boy, what a pony. Good boy. I'm gonna get him to come up a little bit further. He's got some room here where he can step out and step forward. No, sir. And if you've been following this work with him, you can see that I'm really just like kind of getting in there. I'm not easing my way into this. It's just immediately going up. There, that's better, good. I'm gonna come a little closer this time. Good boy, that's better, very good. And again, I'll give him a rub. There we go. Good boy. It's so important to stay persistent with this stuff, even when he is shying away, because we've already worked through like the introduction of this halter. He knows it's not going to hurt him. I've made that very, very clear. Every time we've interacted with it, I've been very easy, I've been gradual, I've been subtle to build his confidence. And so now at this point, it's really about saying, hey, I need you to be a big boy. You're gonna be okay. And you see, like, even though it's hitting the side of the stall here and making noise and stuff, I'm not worried about that. Good boy. I'm gonna come right in there and rub on him. Good. There we go. Good. Awesome. I like that. So he's doing better there. So now I'm really gonna come in with it and just start to rub him. And that actually feels good. You can see him lowering his head because these halters are pretty stiff. And so it's almost like a little massage there, rubbing on him. Oh, buddy, doesn't that feel good? We're gonna hook it over his ear. We worked on that last time. Very good, I like that. Very good, okay. So now, just like we were doing last time, I'm gonna go ahead and open up my halter, rub him here. I'm gonna pick up the halter towards his nose, like I expect him to stay there. I'm gonna cluck and kiss him. I don't have my stick, but he knows that clucking noise needs to go forward, right? Good boy. So I'm gonna drive him right back into it. And I don't know, if you've been watching him for a while, I don't know if you can tell the differences. Even in the way that he turns away from me, he's not just darting and running away. I'm seeing some huge differences. He comes back to me a lot quicker. He's a lot softer in the process. Good boy. Now have him step up to it. Good boy. Good. Step up to it. Good boy. Step up to it. There, good boy. Have him step up to it. Good boy. Good boy. Good. I'm gonna give him a rub. Good boy. Yes, sir. Good. Good boy. It's all right. Step back into it. Didn't hurt you. Good boy. Very good. So I like that. I'm gonna rub him here. I'm gonna bring it up. He kind of feels trapped when I have this hand up high and I close that in, right? So I really want to teach him there to really give and soften to that. There, very good. Very good. Outstanding. Again. Awesome. Good. Good. Very good. Okay. So now that he's let me put it on his nose, I'm going to work on bringing it under like we were the other day when we were working on this. Good. Awesome. Good boy. Good. Really like that. So I'm going to kind of pinch the offside of my halter here. I'm going to have him step up a little bit though. I want him a little bit closer to me. There. That way it's easier for haltering. Good boy. Good boy. So I'm going to reach over. Good. Good. And I'm going to rub here. There. Good boy. Yes, sir. What a pony. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. I'm going to take my hand and rub on this side. Oh, and he's got a little bite on this side. I can feel. It's like one of the other horses chewed on him on this side. little scab over here. So I'll just rub that a little bit. A little sore right here. Good pony. Good boy. Now I'm going to go back now to taking the end of my halter and reaching across, and I'm going to rub him with that. Good boy. What a pony. Yes, sir. Yeah. Doing great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach across, and I'm going to grab the end, if I can find it. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and scoop his nose up. I'm going to ask him to stay with me here. I'm going to see if, with the pressure of the halter, if I can get him to step into that. Very good. Awesome. What a pony. Good job, Mr. Slate. And if you remember last time I put it on, I was very slow with this part of the process, on and off, to make sure that he stayed with me. But because I made that investment last time, I don't have to keep doing that over and over and over again. You know, I was pretty confident that he wasn't just going to shoot back. He was going to stay with me here. So I really, really like that. It took me significantly less time in order to get the halter on him, and he's staying with me, which is great. Good boy. So now what I want to do is, last time we finished up with just getting him to give to a little bit of pressure. We see that didn't go so well. So I'm going to push him back over here through here. Good. Be polite. Good boy. Good boy. What a pony. I'm going to go right back to it. No big deal. We're going to try again. I'm going to come back here again. We'll drive him forward. Good boy. I'm going to rub and love on him. Good. I'm going to pick up on the side here and just draw him. Oh, he doesn't like that at all. And sometimes it's like that with your horses. Last time he did really well with that. This time he's like telling me where to go. I don't like that. I say, be polite. Be a gentleman. Step up, bud. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so we're going to do a different approach. And we talked about this last training session, how we kind of adapt and change approaches as we need to with our horse. So what I'm going to do, since he's pulling from that, I don't want to build a habit of him just pulling away from that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wrap this around here, and I'm going to clip it. And what will happen is, if he does move, I can put a little bit of tension on it. And the idea isn't, we'll see how it goes, you know, easier said than done. But we don't want to turn this to an ugly thing where it's a pulling match and he's thrashing and fighting against this. I want to be able to have a little bit of pressure and keep him with me, okay? So I'm going to clip this to him for the very first time, right, while it's attached to him. And this is going to be holding him, right? And so I don't want him to develop the habit that he can just pull and thrash and get away from me, okay? So this is really, really important. And again, if you're just following Slate, he's a wild 10-year-old stallion, hasn't been handled. And he came from Heart of Phoenix Equine Rescue, and we're working on teaching him how to be handleable. He was charging, kicking, biting, really aggressive. And so now we've gotten to where we can put the halter on him, right? But now we're gonna connect the lead rope and see if we can get him to not just pull away from us, all right? So I'm using this, and again, this is the stall that I use for all of my wild horses. It has my little protective wall to keep me safe, where I can work over this for the horses that are striking and being dangerous. And then I can also use this pole here in the barn as leverage to hold him when I clip him up the first time, if he does try to pull back against me. Now, last session, we did work on getting him to give to that. So I know that he can give to the pressure, but mentally he's having a hard time right now. So we're going to give this a try. So what this is going to look like is, again, this gives me a little bit of leverage where it can slide, okay, and I can let up off of it if I need to, all right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a rub, okay? So just let him kind of relax with that halter on. Good boy. And I'm going to grab under here. I'm going to release. Every time I grab under there, he wants to kind of lean back and get away from me. So I'm not going to hold very long. I'm just going to hold and see if I can get him there to soften off of that. Because I don't want to just muscle and fight him here, okay? It's really, really important that we don't do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I have enough room to clip this, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come under here and I'm gonna clip it. And if he goes to pull back, I'm gonna try to hold him with me. There. And then when he gives here, I'll release, okay? And see, the key here is I didn't want him to get in that habit of, oh, when someone puts pressure, I can just shoot backwards, right? Because I'm not as strong as this post is that can hold him to teach him. No, 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 that's a bad idea, but don't do that. There, good boy. And he did a good job, you know, and a lot of that is just kind of preparation at this point of not just like thrashing and fighting and fighting and fighting, of just kind of giving in to that pressure immediately. Look at him coming off that pressure. He's thinking about pulling against it. Good, but he's not. There's a little bit of slack in the rope there, and he's licking and chewing and he's thinking about it. So I really, really like that, okay? So now, and you gotta be really careful when you're doing stuff like this. You don't wanna get your fingers caught in this or anywhere where you can lose a finger. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can get him to come forward off of that. There, very good, awesome. And I'm gonna ask him to come forward off of that again. There, good, I'll take that. Good boy. And I'm gonna ask him to come forward off of this again. So we're just gonna take up a little bit more. I'm holding that there. And again, if he pulls back, I don't have to worry about holding him. I've got my post here to hold him. And then when he gives into the pressure, I can release. He's thinking about giving into the pressure here. It's like 50-50, right? He could either shoot backwards. You see the tension in the line there, right? He could shoot backwards and fight, or he could choose to give to this pressure. And so right now, he's just thinking, you know, what should I do here? Should I give into this pressure, or should I run backwards? Thrash, sit back, right? This is his decision to make. I'm set up so that if he does run backwards, I have him. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But the moment he kind of gives into the pressure, if he chooses to, right, to come into the pressure, then I'm already set up to release that pressure as well. Oh, I like that. He came forward just a touch. Good boy. I'm going to pick right back up again and see if I can get him to draw forward. Now, if I get my pony being really sticky, look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let up a little bit here, but I'm gonna draw kind of sideways and see if I can get him to kind of come off balance and come sideways. And they're more likely to come at an angle than if I'm pulling straight on him right there. Good. I still want him to give me a little bit more. He's thinking about it. He shifted that way to touch, and I'm just holding. And so now I'm gonna go back to our training. So remember, up until this point, when we've asked him to move forward, I've picked up my hand and said, hey, fall into my hand, okay? I've also used my stick. I don't have my stick, but we've also done some clucking and kissing. I'm gonna, and I'm gonna pick up again. I'm gonna cluck and kiss. There, good boy. And I'm gonna pick up one more time and cluck and kiss. Very good. So I really, really like that. My goal here is we're gonna finish up with him. I'd like to get him to step up into this pocket where I've normally had him step up into and have been working with him, and get him to give to this pressure. But again, if he does decide to shoot backwards, I've got him to where he can't just get away from me, okay? Ask him to come forward. I'm gonna cluck and kiss. Good. And again. There we go. Good boy. Yes, that was so good. What a pony. So this is really important. I want to rub him for this, okay? You want to be very careful again in this situation that you don't get your hand bound up in anything if he does pull away, where you don't get hurt. But I just want to rub and love on him. You see him kind of leaning back, sitting low here. He's not 100% relaxed. We're going to step him up again in a second, but I want him to know he's made some good decisions by coming into this. So I'm going to loosen this up just a touch here. I'm going to ask him to step in. There we go, good boy. Now he's completely up to the wall. Oh my goodness, what a gentleman, yes. What a good boy, what a good pony. So yeah, we can do some on this right side, can't we? Yeah, oh, you let me touch your ears. Yes, you're being nice and quiet and relaxed. What a good boy. What a good pony. And so this is gonna be a good place to quit with him, right? We put the halter on, that went a lot faster than it has been going, right? I started to see if I could ask him to give the pressure without the rope, but he started to pick up this habit of, let me shoot backwards. So we went ahead and put the rope on. We anchored it down where I could kind of move with him a little bit, let that rope slide, but he couldn't just, run backwards through it. And then of course we worked on the come forward cue where I add pressure and get him to come towards me, right? So same thing, if he backs away from that pressure, he can, right? I'm gonna hold him here. Good boy. Come into it. Good. I'm asking to come into it. And I'm gonna draw him back. So I'm gonna go ahead and cluck and kiss. There, good boy. So I decided to help him a little bit. And it was really important that I maintained pressure until he came back into it. So I decided to help him a little bit by grabbing my stick and adding some pressure to get him to come off of that. Again, I'm gonna be really careful with my fingers there. I'm gonna take up on some of the slack. Again, we gotta end on it in a good place. We're almost at a good spot there. I'm gonna drive him forward and we'll be okay here. I need to work on this just a couple more times where when I put pressure here, if he backs up, I don't want him to freak out, just take a step, okay? There, good. I'm holding, I'm gonna help him out. There, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. That was awesome. I'm gonna ask him for a step backwards. He went on his own. I was good. I much rather that than him hit the line. Good boy. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna ask again. We're gonna gently draw back just a touch here. Good. Very good. What a pony. Yes, sir. Yeah. And I'm gonna ask him to step up into this again. Good. I like that he's not just pulling back from my hand. And I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna hold. There, good boy. And so we were just about to wrap it up, and we are. But again, a lot of this work we've been doing with him has been all about adjustments, right? We want to make sure we set him up to do well, okay? And so we want to make sure we finish things on a good note. Everybody's heard that, right? Finish on a good note. Make sure you end on a good note. This is what we're talking about, is figuring out what that horse needs. And so he just showed us towards the end there that he wasn't okay with backing up. So we had to get him okay with backing up and not freaking out. And then after he backs up, can he draw back in? And we know that he can with a little bit of help. Back up. Good, easy. Draw back in. Good pony. Very, very good. We're gonna back him up again. Want a good, nice back up without overreacting and freaking out. Good, easy. I'm gonna ask him to come back in. There, good boy. And we're gonna back him up again. There, good. And he's having a hard time with this back up without the overreaction. It's just a little tough for him. So I'm gonna communicate directly with this leg right here and see if I can tap him back a little bit. He's having a hard time there. I'm gonna go back to the halter. Okay, good, we'll take that. Very good, good boy. And we'll back him up. There, that was better. And we'll step him up. There, good, good. Let's give to the pressure, good. And we'll back him up again, and we'll step him up. Good, this time when I step him up, I'm gonna draw on the rope, ask him to walk into the pressure. Good. Good boy. And we'll back him up again. And this is what this horse needs, lots of clarity and repetition. That it's okay. He doesn't have to freak out when I add pressure here and run backwards. He can come into the pressure. Oh, that's good. He took a little step there. We're gonna help him out like we've been doing. There, good boy. And we're gonna back him up. We're gonna back him up. We're gonna back him up. There, good boy. Whoa, look at you, man. And we're gonna come forward. We're gonna help him out. There, good boy. And we're gonna back him up off the lead. I'm gonna hold him there. Good. We're gonna come right back to going forward. And notice, like, when he takes, you know, a step back like that, or he starts pulling, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's no big deal. I don't overreact to it. We just continue on like we've been doing. I'm gonna step him up. Good.